Hello and welcome. I am Lord Revonworc, and here we are with a brand new release, Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth, the newest title of the Civilization franchise. And of course, you've all been watching my Civ 5 series, because, that is the main series on my channel, so with Beyond Earth coming out, I was really excited to get it, and I bought it yesterday when it came out. Well, I mean, technically I bought it earlier, but it was the pre-purchase. I started playing it yesterday, about 3 hours just to get a bit of a feel, but, the game is still a brand new release, and I'm still a beginner at it, so I'm really excited to get into it. So let's choose a difficulty. I'm not going to handicap myself that much. Let's go Mercury. This is neat. The difficulties are all different types of, space vessels. Game pace standard seems fine. Small for 6 players seems fine. And now we need to choose a sponsor. And there is a little tradition I had going since I started playing Civilization 5. With each new iteration of the game, by which I mean Vanilla, then Gods and Kings, and Brave New World, I would do this little campaign that was an Africa campaign. The first one I played as Songhai in a dual map along with Egypt back in Vanilla when those were the only two African civilizations. The next one included Songhai, Egypt, Carthage, and Ethiopia, and then in Brave New World, and at that point I had actually played on an Africa map, I played as the Zulu against Morocco, Songhai, Egypt, Carthage, and Ethiopia. So, even though I can't really do that because there's only one African civilization here, I think I should still honor that tradition and play as the African Union. So this will basically be my Beyond Earth Africa campaign. And the interesting thing is that the African Union is actually the only one of these factions that is a real thing in real life. So that's interesting. It's basically the extra-governmental organization that ties together all the African nation-states, excluding Morocco, because there's been disagreements with them and the rest of the continent over Western Sahara. But, you don't come here to listen to politics, to me ramble about the internal politics of foreign countries that none of you are from, because none of my viewers at this point are from Morocco or Western Sahara. I don't believe. So, as far as bonuses, So as a way to relate this game to Civ 5, energy is basically like gold, and health is basically like happiness, or at least that's my understanding from the 3 hours I've played thus far. So, I'm thinking this is actually a good choice, either this or engineers. Production is always crucial, but anything that can help boost happiness or health. Okay, we need to choose a spacecraft. So, what do we want? We can get 100 extra energy, though with my experience previously playing, energy isn't actually as hard to come by as you might think so. Reveal alien nests on map. Not that interesting. Reveal strategic resources before the technology. That's an interesting one. Can increase the area where we choose to land our first city. Meh. And reveals the coasts on the map. Which means this could potentially be useful, so I'm thinking between Tectonic, Scanner, and Continental Surveyor, and I think I'll just go with this. So let's see. What cargo should we bring? Ooh, free technology. Yes, please. And finally, we need to choose a world. So I pre-purchased, which means I got a bunch of free new maps along with my game. So honestly, I don't know enough about any of these maps to really make a choice, so let's go with Random World, and let us start. On Earth, we were witness to a great sight. An orangutan, the last of its kind. Her eyes were empty, any spark they once held drained by sadness. She knew. She knew that we were her last hope and that we had failed her. As we settle these new lands, we must not repeal the mistakes of our fathers. We must protect the gifts of nature. Only then will we prosper. Let's start the game. So, pretty straightforward. I don't think there's much of a question where to go. Mouth of the river. Best place to put a base city. FRXS. I like that on the spacecraft. FRXS. Firaxis. As in the company that produces Civilization. Okay. Let's see. Why don't you head in this direction? Oh, that's good. So, like I said, I've played a little bit of this game before jumping into a series, and I found it really fun. Let's start with a trade depot for that production. And one of the things that I find particularly compelling was this, quests. We don't have any quests yet. But they're just these little interesting tasks the game gives you to do, and when you complete them, you will receive special bonuses. And it's really neat. I really like the whole idea of it. So let's see. I think the technology we should take should be ecology because of the ultrasonic fence here. I got one of these in place, and it's just a really nice thing to do. Keep aliens from approaching your city. Now, I'm not really sure I want to collect this resource pod yet because there's a mission, but I think that mission might be triggered on collecting one. A cache of laboratory equipment, 19 research, that's nice. Yeah. Quest update. Gifts from home. Our sponsor had the foresight to send resource pods ahead of our expedition to be waiting when we arrived. Parts to a large research instrument have been found in this pod. Other pieces are probably found somewhere around here somewhere. So our explorer, it should also probably be mentioned, has very little combat strength. If they go into combat against aliens, they're not likely to survive. But aliens, they're kind of like barbarians in Civ 5, but they're different because they're not automatically aggressive. And they will attack you if you move any unit adjacent to an alien nest before you research certain things that allow you to avoid being attacked. So, if you don't want your explorer to die, do not put them next to an alien nest like this. Okay. That did not happen my first time around. I'm just gonna move the guy back home. So here's another interesting thing about the game. And here's a demonstration of it. Not all...
Venez, mettez-vous à l'aise. Franco-Iberia vous accueille chaleureusement.
Hello, Elodie. Is that not all factions spawn at the same time? I mean, you can disable it in the advanced settings, although I'm not really sure why you would want to. And that way, you will be the only civilization when you start, with the others coming again later. New updates in the quest log. Found an outpost. So now we need to try to found an outpost, and that's the road to getting a new city. So, you seem healed up enough. Let's start moving you in the direction towards La Quere, which means the core, or the heart, which is something I learned from watching the Solar Gamers videos. Although, looks like pretty mountainous terrain could be difficult to traverse. Quest decision. So quest decisions basically, rather than completing a task, you need to make a choice. And that choice will basically affect which type of bonus you get, the other bonus being removed. So this has to do with affinities for the most part, and I think I would rather domesticate the wildlife than eradicate them, because, well, as the opening quote indicated, wiping out all non-human life on the planet tends to not go very well for the human life on the planet. And I honestly don't see a reason to kill them off unless they actively threaten us. I mean, they do actively threaten us, but we don't need to kill them, right? So, and we got plenty of quests. Oh, hello, Farbase 1. Where are you? You're way up by Lequer. That's a shame. I would have liked to trade with you, but you're not going to be within range. 2 energy and 2 science. Yeah. Outposts also, if they're not supplied with a trading post within a certain amount of time, they kind of wither up and die, so if France here doesn't decide to do something about that, we might not see Farbase 1 around for much longer, which would be a shame. But in every life, some rain must fall. Okay, looks like we completed our thing in Magan. So next, yeah, look at that. 10 turns in and we're already at 100 energy. Getting the extra 100 energy at the start probably wouldn't have been the most crucial a choice. So, Old Earth Relic, this is basically like a monument, but it comes with quests, so I want it. Let's also queue a few things up. We're going to want a soldier and a worker. In fact, let's get the worker before the soldier because, workers are important and we don't have liberty to rely on. Clinic after that, for the science and the health. And then after that, we'll decide where to go from there. So keep moving on. New quest decision. So, with the depot now built, the trade depot that is, we've been able to amass an adequate surplus of resources. The question is, what to do with our abundance of goods? Do we send it to our Give me a moment, will you?